Yo, yo, what's up? It's time for another episode of Just a Man Podcast. Um, Doing things a little bit differently tonight because you don't normally see Coach Williams. Well, you normally see Coach Williams start the show off. He's like our lead off man, but he'll be joining us a little bit later. What up, Titus? But I am Pando 316, the good guy with a black hat, and given in light of recent events within the last 24 hours, football is a nice distraction from what's going on in our country. But I don't want to get into that. I want to talk politics or anything like that. But right here to this side here, I got my man Tris TV. He's actually joining us at the start of the show. Tris, what up?
Yeah, what's going on? What's going on? I know it's been a minute. I know it's been a minute since been on the show. You know what I'm saying? Been dealing with things with for church business. Um, but it's a team effort, man. So when people got things going on, it's the next man up. So I'm glad to be on here to be able to talk and not just be a viewer.
And the Lord come first. Let me say that first and
That's right.
foremost.
Amen.
So y'all probably noticed that I am not in my normal setting, and I'm not wearing my Pando 316 shirt. I'm wearing camo because I am at the ranch. It's deer season, and something got to die. So, but just like we talk about the show must go on. I'm like, I just got out the blind a few minutes ago, and I'm here for the show. So let's talk some football. What up, Eric? I didn't see you there, man. What's up, man? But we had the trade deadline happen on Tuesday. It ended at 3 p.m. Eastern, I believe. 4 p.m. 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Central Time. And we had some moves that got made. We're going to talk about those moves and how they benefit each team. The team that gave up a player
Yes, sir.
and gained draft capital, whether they won or lost the trade or if it was a win-win. And then we're going to talk about what these players are going to be able to do for these teams that they are now members of. Now, I want to start with, I think it was probably the biggest move of the trade deadline. Zadarius Smith is now a Detroit Lion. And, if you follow football like we do, you know that Aiden Hutchinson was injured that season and then broken leg, and they needed a pass rush. What terrifies me the most about that is the fact that the Lions was winning without Aiden Hutchinson these last few weeks and been winning in convincing fashion on top of it. So I'm sitting up here going, they just added Zadarius Smith. Oh my goodness. And if I'm not mistaken, his contract isn't up at the end of this year. So the next year, I know it's looking way off because we just had week 10. But looking into the future, Zadarius Smith is still a Lion, and Aiden Hutchinson comes back 100%. They will have bookend pass rushers. I'm already feeling like the Lions are the team to beat in the NFC. I just don't see anybody better than them in the conference, period. And very few, or if anybody, in the AFC. Right now, the Lions they the cock of the walk right now. And adding Zadarius Smith is just, man, that's just adding another weapon on top of their already dangerous arsenal. Tristan, what you think?
Man, listen, we talked about it when Aiden Hutchinson went down. We was like, they gotta add a pass rusher. You're not gonna get anyone of the likes of Aiden Hutchinson, but you needed to get someone close. That was the concern. We were worried about what their pass rusher was gonna look like with that squad. Some people had them in the Super Bowl talk before the injury, took them out of the Super Bowl talk after the injuries. When they got Zadarius Smith, it put them right back in the Super Bowl talk. You got to think about it. Now they're not going to be. He's not Aiden Hutchinson. Like Aiden Hutchinson was on pace to become Defensive Player of the Year, but Zadarius Smith ain't no slouch. And with the roster, with what they got around them, the linebacker, secondary, you know what I'm saying, the D tackles who are underrated. It's 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 rare to find a team that has no weakness, but where's their weakness? their safeties can play, their corners can play, their linebackers fly around. When you look at the offensive side of the ball, you got Montgomery as your sledgehammer, Gibbs as your home run hitter. I'm almost saying Brown. Look at the wide receivers that we thought were castaways, all making plays, and Jared Goff is just masterful right now in that offense. And you have the best offensive line in football. I mean, what can you say? What can you say? And they made the right move because they're like, look, our Super Bowl window is here and is open more than ever because the 49ers are not as strong as they were. The Eagles at times show inconsistency. So this is the time. This is the time to grab it from the NFC and be the NFC representative in the Super Bowl. We said it last year. That team did not lose that game. Dan Campbell lost that game. And it seemed like Dan Campbell has learned from his mistakes. So it makes him that much more dangerous. So if you're a Detroit Lions fan, this is huge.
Yeah, and the only pushback I can really give you on what you just said, Tristan, is the fact that that these guys were good. Hey, what up, Cleve? These guys are really good in the interim between losing Aiden Hutchinson and gaining Zadarius Smith. Like, I already had them in the Super Bowl. The way they have, it's not
As
just
it,
winning games. They've been winning convincingly. They have like,
yeah,
oh, we just scraping by. No, it's like,
no,
no,
they beating people up,
you're
putting up
right.
points.
And it's like, oh, the last time we saw this was the Niners a couple of years ago.
Exactly, exactly.
They look the part. They passing the eye test, and we said, well, they got to play the Packers, and we're gonna see how they do. And shoot, they went and gave the Packers what for, and that's a very strong division that they're in. But that being said, they're dominating that division. So, like, man, what can you say?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
yeah. I mean, when you look at that division, we knew that was going to be one of the more competitive divisions in football. But when you pair them up against the Vikings can be had. When you
Mm-hmm.
pair them up against they pair them up against the Bears because as long as uh Uber Flush is the coach, then that's going to go bad. And then we pair them up against the Green Bay Packers. Yeah, the Green Bay Packers are a solid team too, but they're not better than the Lions. They're just a head above everybody else. And the only team, honestly, that we could think of going blow for blow with them is the 49ers, who are dealing with a numerous amount of injuries. So
We're gonna get
I
to
mean,
them in a minute. Yeah.
exactly. So in my mind, it just seems like all roads lead to Detroit. Like you have to beat Detroit if you want to get to the Super Bowl from the NFC.
So I looked it up, and if the season were to end today, the Lions would be the number 1 seed, and they'd be hosting all of the playoff games at Ford
Yep.
Field.
Yep.
And the 49ers would not even be in the playoffs. Like, oh, how time changes things, We look at it and like, oh, wow, okay. You know, oh, my bad. I just realized that the feed was playing, it was double playing on there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I was like, who talking? Oh, that's me. But the little technical difficulty, we got to rectify it. But time changes a lot of things, and time and injuries change a whole lot of things. But right now, the Lions, they looking like them dudes, man. They looking like them. You'd say singular would be him, but it's the team, so it's them. And the difference, I think, they've always had that talent. Let me say that. They were very close to beating my team in the NFC Championship last year. And Dan Campbell's bad decision making was the only reason, like you said, it was the only reason why they lost that game. And I agree with that because I'm very objective about it. And right now, I don't believe that my team can beat this Lions team with everyone healthy. I still don't believe they could. Now, week 17, I believe it is, the Lions play the Niners. We're going to see what happens. And the Niners are starting to get guys back that were, Christian McCaffrey practice this week. He's going to play week 10 against the Bucs for all intents and purposes. But I don't even have the Niners in my top 10, which we'll get to later on in this game. There he is, ladies and gentlemen, Coach Williams.
What's up?
Hey, you just came in just in time. We were talking about the Lions adding Zadarius Smith and how dangerous that makes them. They were already dangerous, but how dangerous that makes them. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, so I don't know if y'all saw in the comments. I gave a couple comments, but it wasn't really much of anything except for that was a good trade, and they beat Minnesota and Green Bay based on what y'all was saying. But listen, Tristan said brought a good point. Their interior defensive line is underrated. They have I think Lee McNeil and then another defensive tackle, nose tackle type of guy. So those A gaps are being shut down by those two guys in the middle. Okay. And then now before Hutchinson went down, all he had to do was make sure the run didn't get past him. So that set him up to be able to rush a quarterback with no problems. Now it's Zadarius Smith's turn. So I think Detroit Lions brought in the right pass rusher because Dan Campbell knows the type of players he wants. He didn't just bring in Zadarius Smith just to bring him in. He brought him in because he fits the Detroit Lions profile, and I firmly believe that. Now, of course, like Tristan said, he's not Aiden Hutchinson, so I would give but he's like that tier 2 type pass rusher. That's what he is. He's a tier 2 pass rusher. Hopefully, it's good enough for them through the playoffs because like you said, they have the number 1 seed, so everything's coming through full field. If they create the correct matchup, and what I mean by that is who's the weakest offensive tackle on the opposing team, then it will help out a whole lot more. Because if Detroit plays San Francisco, you don't put Zadarius Smith on Trent Williams. You put Zadarius Smith on the right tackle.
I'd like to talk about the economics and the capital side of this trade and how great it is and what a great move. Because when we get to these other players, you're going to see what I'm talking about. The Lions gave up a 5th rounder for Zadarius Smith. Okay? A 5th rounder for a guy who not necessarily is a premier pass rusher, but is a doggone good one.
Right.
Second thing, his contract is not up until the end of 2025, so he could be back next year with Aiden Hutchinson. So that's number 2. Number 3, his cap hit is only $5.4 million. That's it. So not only did they come out on top in this trade for draft capital, they came out on top financially, and they still got him for another year if he plays well. And I think if he plays decent, guess what? Aiden Hutchinson comes back next year, and Zadarius Smith doesn't even have to be the man. He could assume the same role that he had in Cleveland of Myles Garrett. So now you really got problems for the rest of the NFC if that happens. And then they could opt out of his deal if, let's say, he stinks, which I doubt. I doubt it too. Watch this. This is going to drive you crazy. Let's say he stinks up the place and he doesn't play well. The dead cap money is under $1 million. Come on. You can't do no better deal than that. You cannot do any better than that. Dare I say it, and we're going to talk about teams who got fleeced in these trades in a minute, but dare I say it, Cleveland kind of got fleeced a little bit because Detroit got the most out of this deal.
No, they
What do
really did. They really did.
But I don't think Cleveland had a choice because everyone knows that they're about to start a fire sale over there. You gave up Amari Cooper, you gave up Zadarius Smith. It's only a matter of time you're going to give up some other pieces as well. I'm
well,
thinking
yeah,
Joker might
because
be on a trade block
yeah,
at the end of the season.
yeah, because people, I've heard Denzel Ward and I've heard
Yep.
Myles Garrett.
Yep.
So, and to me, if you're talking about a fire sale in Cleveland, I don't see Kevin Stefanski being in Cleveland too much longer.
Oh no,
I agree, and it
Not
won't
to
be
men-
his fault, unfortunately.
not to mention, you got to remember they changed offensive play callers because Ken Dorsey's now calling the offense. So that's another telltale sign that hey, Stefanski ain't got much longer.
But it's not even Stefanski's fault, and that's what's unfortunate about that situation.
And that is true because Deshaun Watson just
Was a bust.
hasn't been able to stay healthy really.
Was a bust for Cleveland.
Well, that too. Giving all that money.
Okay, so I want to keep it rolling, guys. I don't want to get too deep into this, but we still got more trades to talk about. I think the next best trade was probably the Steelers. The Steelers.
Boo, Eric.
Wait, I'm gonna get to that in a minute. But the Steelers getting Mike Williams and Preston Smith, they got pretty much double what they needed. So you got another pass rush on the side of TJ Watt, who's pretty doggone good. And now you got another comparable receiver, competent receiver on the other side of George
Pickens. Yep.
And now the Steelers just put the rest of the AFC North on notice. Because, I mean, that's
honestly, hey, no, listen.
He won't get to his team. That's why we gonna get.
Yeah, I know. Pittsburgh, and they're right. And see, the thing is, Pittsburgh was winning before these trades will happen. Before the trades happen, okay, that's crucial. Mike Tomlin, when he retires, if he don't get to the Hall of Fame, there needs to be pitchforks in Canton, Ohio.
Pitchforks,
he'll get it.
Because this man was winning with Kenny Pickett at quarterback, and now he's winning with the combination of Russell Wilson and Justin Fields.
What's crazy is the fact that they saw Russell Wilson. They said, "Oh, we can push this ball vertical down the field consistently." Yeah, let me get another wide receiver over here so we can really make some noise with this. Najee Harris is having one of his better seasons. That offensive line is starting to get themselves to be nasty.
And that means points, and that means defensive pass rush. And you can't just
and you got Preston Smith and TJ Watt in there.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that you can't just key in on TJ Watt the whole time. Oh, what's TJ Watt gonna do? What TJ Watt gonna do?
Right.
Now you got to worry about this other guy on the other side.
Right. Still got to deal with Cam Hayward in the middle. So now you're giving opportunities for Joey Porter Jr. and for Minka Fitzpatrick to possibly get some picks and get some turnovers. I mean, the Steelers have really set themselves up with this move.
Yeah,
and
they
it's not
really
talked
have.
about enough because it wasn't really a splashy move, but it's a move that down the line you're gonna be like, ooh, that was major.
Yeah, it's
when
not.
It comes to playoff implications.
I want to say this because interesting is, I saw what happened with Houston and the Jets gave Houston's offensive line problems. So I like Houston. But if their offensive line is going to be problems like this, if Houston runs into a team like Pittsburgh, I'm not saying Pittsburgh is beating them, but they're going to give them problems now with Preston Smith, TJ Watt, and Cam Hayward.
It's been bad all year. People just weren't paying attention to Houston's offensive line. It's been bad all year. All year has been bad. Joe Mixon has been making it work and saving them on some games. But like you said, I mean, what the Steelers did, you got to knock Houston out of that possibility because they're gonna hurt that offensive line.
I think that Houston's offensive line is not very good at pass blocking, but I do believe the run blocking is pretty solid.
It's pretty solid, yep.
Yeah, so the pass blocking is definitely an issue. Just today, Houston added Zach Thomas to the team. He's a tackle. Not Zach Thomas.
Who?
Zach Thomas, the tackle. He's not. I know Zach Thomas is a linebacker. No, like Zach Thomas, the tackle.
No, I know it wasn't a linebacker. I knew it wasn't him.
But let's try to stay on topic about these trades. But let's go ahead and get to the next big one, and that's Marshawn Lattimore leaving the New Orleans Saints and going to Washington, the Washington Commanders, for a third, a fourth, and a sixth. Tristan, we're gonna let you go first. Give me
Listen, this was a great move. This was a great move. And people are saying like, oh, but what did y'all give to get him? Listen, man, Marcus Lattimore is 28 years old and is an all-pro player. And before he got hurt, was having another all-pro season. Like, put on the tape against them against the Dolphins, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Like, this is a legitimate top 10 corner. Or he might be top 7, top 5 in the league as far as one-on-one on an island against your number one. What this does for the defense, the way Joe Witt and Dan Quinn likes to do their defense. Think of the Seahawks, think of the Cowboys, think of Atlanta's defense. When you have certain players in certain spots, it allows Dan Quinn to be able to manipulate the other side of the field and do different schemes and do different coverages to confuse offenses. You couldn't do that. You had the defense we had currently constructed. You had to play it honest because if you left St. Juice, every time you left him, he was getting burnt. The man was burnt toast. He came into the season light skinned. Now he looking like me, like he burnt. So this is what happens when you add a legit number one corner. Now you move St. Juice to number 2. You get man, I always mess up his name. What's his name again, Eric? Mike, what his last name I always mess up.
Who?
Santrell, Mike, what's his name? Mike
Sanstrel.
Thank you. You can put him naturally in the slot, which I don't understand why people didn't take advantage. But now those inseam routes and stuff like that, now we got him that he can cover that because that's what he was doing all in Michigan. And then you can just move the rest of the DBs the way you want to go. Now you can scheme certain ways, certain disguises, because you know that number one is going to be held down by Marcus. So it was a great pickup for us for what they gave up. We still have a 3rd round pick because of the Dotson trade. We still have another 4th round pick. I think we came in with 9 picks. Now we got 7 picks going into the offseason. So we're all right. But I think for them to make the move, they're like, oh, we can actually compete. This was a move saying we can compete this year. This wasn't a move to say, oh, we rebuild it for the future. Because I was content as a fan. I was content if we didn't make any trades. Because I'm thinking about the future. But because they made this move, they're like, oh no, we can compete right now.
Well, that's a great segue, Tristan. We said the future. Because just looking at his contract, he is not a free agent until 2027. So the Commanders will have Lattimore for this year and the next 2 years after that.
And it's already one of my reporter friends that is there. One of my reporter friends that was there at the press conference, he's already heard kind of the rumbling that they're already thinking about trying to restructure to add a couple more years on there with his deal, because they're looking at him as the perennial number one corner for them going forward and to build around him.
And the thing is Adam Peters. You got to say his name. Adam Peters is the reason why something like this happened, because we all know and we all have to admit that a trade like this would not have gone down in the Dan Snyder era.
Absolutely not.
Would not. This is a very smart trade. It bolsters your defense, which was the Achilles heel of the Commanders leading into season. We all know what Jaden Daniels is capable of. Scary Terry, Robinson, Eckler, they're doing a fantastic job. But the question mark was about the defense. The question mark was about the defense. And now you have a shutdown corner on one side. You can roll coverage over and give St. Jude some help. I think the front seven is pretty solid. They're going to have to draft a linebacker soon. but
Yep. They got to draft one for Bobby Wagner to teach him.
right. But we can actually start talking about how I can't wait to get into our top 10. But the Commanders are making noise, and realistically, they're a playoff team right now. Unless some catastrophic happens, they're a playoff team. Maybe a wild card, but they're a playoff team.
I would say wild card, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, because I still think the Eagles run that division right now, as of right now, because you know how what's his face is
Sirianni.
You know how Sirianni can get, but
emotional,
right? So, and not to beat a dead horse, we're going back to talking about coaches who learn their lesson, but talking about Dan Campbell, what's making the Lions so good right now is he's not making those emotional decisions anymore. He's very grounded in his decision making, and that's what makes the Lions so good. But we're going back to the Commanders. Adam Peters, right now, he is
executive year.
Well, not yet, but he's doggone sure.
You don't think so?
Not yet, but
who's better? Who's a better exec for this season right now?
I mean,
we can't. The reason why I wouldn't say Detroit is because we saw this coming with Detroit. Ain't nobody saw this coming with the Commanders.
Well, to be fair, and I'm not trying to pat my own back here, but I did. Because when y'all hired Adam
everybody
Peters,
ain't you, Eric.
Right, but I'm speaking for myself. I can't speak for anybody else. I'm speaking for myself. So when I saw the hiring of Adam Peters, I'm like, ooh, some things about to shake up over there. So we'll see how this plays out. But as of right now, of course, he's a front runner of exec for the year. He is a front runner. Lamar Jackson's the front runner for MVP, but I mean that's still a lot of football left to be played. So
I got you.
So as of right now, Lamar Jackson. As of right now, for GM or executive, yeah, Adam Peters, because I know where he came from. You think you like him now? Wait till this next draft y'all about to have, and y'all start finding these guys like, who is this guy that we drafted in the 6th round? Who is this guy we drafted in the 7th? Who is this guy? And then they wind up being dogs. And you're like, wait, we got this guy in the 7th round and he playing like this? Adam Peters. So, yeah, wait till this draft coming up. Mark my words. All right, let's talk about some smaller trades before we get into the one that we really want to talk about. The Niners the Niners traded for Khalil Davis, defensive tackle from the Houston Texans. They gave up a 7th rounder in 2026, not this year coming. He's a depth piece, not a whole lot to talk about. But Chris Kocurek is the best defensive line coach in the league. He takes people's junk and turns it into something salvageable. He takes salvageable stuff and turns them into studs. So we'll see what he does. He's a rotational piece. The Niners have been having trouble stopping the run, so they needed interior defensive line help. Nothing to see here. Chicago sent Khalil Hebert to
Cincinnati.
That's what it was. Thank you. Chicago sent Khalil Hebert to Cincinnati. They had a need at running back. He wasn't going to get a lot of touches in Chicago.
And he needed PT. Yep.
And so he's going to get plenty of touches in Cincinnati. We'll see how that pans out. Those are minor trades. But now let's talk about the elephant in the room.
My goodness.
And Coach Brandon Williams has been really quiet, but this has
been
to do
calm too.
He's been very calm, but this has to do with his team. The Dallas Cowboys traded a 4th rounder for Jonathan Mingo to the Carolina Panthers. A person that we had to go look up on Google to find out who he was and what he did.
I forgot, and he was a good prospect coming out of Ole Miss. I don't know what happened.
A 4th Now, just to give you some context, folks that are watching at home, the
Put that
Chiefs,
list there.
the Chiefs gave up a fifth that's gonna turn into a conditional fourth. We're gonna round up and call that a fourth. The Chiefs gave up fourth for DeAndre Hopkins.
What the Bills do? What the Bills do?
The Bills gave up my notes. Go ahead and say it so we can keep it rolling. But the Bills gave up
a six,
excuse me, for Amari Cooper. But the Cowboys and Jerry Jones, in his infinite senility, gave up a fourth rounder, to the Carolina Panthers for a guy that we had to Google. And the thing is, the GM for the Panthers trying to sound nice, oh, it was a win-win. No, you fleeced the hell out of the Cowboys. Brandon, go ahead, man.
First of all, I have no problems with the player. It's the pick that you're giving up for him. If we would have gotten Mingo for a 6th or 7th, that's different. Okay?
Yeah, I think Mingo could play.
Up a 4th, you asking Mingo to at least be the number two on number 2 receiver. So that means he needs to come in now and be better than the following receivers: Ryan Flournoy, Jalen Tolbert, Jalen Brooks. Now Brandon Cooks is still hurt. Okay, he has a serious knee issue going on. It's not ACL or I think it was some kind of infection he had. So that's what's going on with him. And you asking him to come in and contribute immediately and contribute heavily. One, I don't see that happening just off of him, okay? Because he was down the Carolina Panthers depth chart at wide receiver. And if you look at the Panthers wide receiver depth chart, you can see why he's gone, which is another reason why you shouldn't have gave up a 4th-round pick for him.
Yep.
Okay? So, number 2 reason why you shouldn't give up a 4th-round pick for him. Dallas had, I said when they got smoked by Detroit, they have quit on Mike McCarthy. Now, Dak gets hurt this past Sunday with a hamstring. At best, he missed 4 weeks. At worst, he missed 6 weeks to probably the rest of the season. Who's going to throw him the football? Maybe Cooper Rush, maybe Trey Lance. It really don't matter. It's not going to make him look better. It's not going to make Mingo look better. 2 reasons why he shouldn't have gave up a 4th-round pick for him. Reason number 3. Again, the Cowboys have given up on Mike McCarthy, which means that I'll be surprised if they even win another game or 2. Maybe not. More than likely not. And there's no need to. I've already said, hey, if they lose the rest of these games, that's fine with me. Higher draft pick. Okay? But what does higher draft pick means? It's not just the 1st round. There are 7 rounds, 1 through 7. 4th-round pick. Could have been a high 4th-round pick. Okay? And players kind of slip through the cracks out of rounds 2 and 3 to round 4. Okay? Also, round 4 is not a bad round to draft players with, little questionable backgrounds or, a little bit injury history. But you can get something for a 4th-round pick. You can get a good player for a 4th-round pick. And I think Dallas blew it by trading for Mingo. You could have used that pick for a wide receiver who is younger, cheaper, better, or you could have taken that 4th-round pick and another pick and moved up one of these rounds, whether it's round 1, 2, or 3, for a receiver that you might like a little bit more. So yes, there are multiple reasons why this pick should not have been made. I mean, why this trade should not have been made. Well, not using a 4th-round pick in the trade. Multiple reasons. And so, I think I probably nailed all of them.
So with that in mind, and we talked about this off the air. Do you feel like, I know what my answer, my opinion is, but do either of y'all feel like the Cowboys should have been sellers at the trade deadline?
Of course.
Because,
Absolutely.
and this is my philosophy, this is my rationale for saying that. Okay, you didn't pay Dak Prescott $60 million a year. You've paid CeeDee Lamb. You still have to pay Micah Parsons. Okay.
You got to pay Tyler Smith, Jake Ferguson, and you know who I was missing that in those is eligible for contract extension? The kicker.
Oh my God, the best kicker in the league. Yeah.
And guess what? He changed agents too. And I know who his agent is too. And it's gonna be a problem.
Rosenhaus?
Yeah, he's gonna want his money.
Nope. It's Dak Prescott's agent, Todd France.
Oh, well, there you go.
Well, yeah,
so
he's gonna hit him over the head.
At this point, it looks like their season is effectively over. Okay. Like they're not remotely even close to being. If the Giants weren't so bad, they would probably be the last place team in the division. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So at this point, it would make sense to be a seller than a buyer during the trade deadline, because you need to try to clear some cap space. You need to try to pick up some draft picks, because if you want to be competitive next year, you're gonna need more than just the draft picks that you have. You need to pick up a few more draft picks. I would
actually,
guys. The Marcus would have been gone.
You said what?
The Marcus Lawrence would have been gone. Bland would have been gone.
I
gotta sell this thing as a full rebuild.
Actually, you know what? This might surprise some of y'all initially. I heard there were small rumblings that Parsons could have been traded.
They weren't gonna do that. Not a generational talent. That would have been foolish. You don't let a generational, and I dub him as a generational talent. You don't let generational talents, the premier position, walk out the door.
And that's part of the reason why they didn't do it.
I would use that term for Micah Parsons that loosely. And I don't view him as a generational talent at all. I think he's talented. I don't think he's generationally talented, because a generational talent is going to show up every single game, win or lose.
I think
he lacks a motor.
I think what Tristan saying is the athletic ability. It's not
the ability.
Linebackers that can run a 4.340.
Nope. And you can move him all over that front seven. The motor, you question the motor. I'm with you on that, Eric. You question the motor. I'm with you.
He disappears in big games, and like, we know he has ability, but he disappears in big games. Generational talent is someone like a Lawrence Taylor, who everybody compared him to. Lawrence Taylor showed pardon my friends, but he showed his whole ass every game, whether they won or lost.
I think the struggle with him is the motor, but I think the team culture warrants him to be that way, because when you look at him, if he really made up in his mind, got frustrated enough and be like, you know what, basically, like, to heck with this, like, I'm about to take over this game, he physically could. He put him anywhere in that front seven, and he would take over the game.
They don't do that enough, man.
But they don't do that with him.
They don't do that enough, and that's why I want to be his defensive coordinator so bad.
You got a piece like that. Like, when I watched him at Penn State, this was literally someone you plug anywhere you wanted him to go. But I think Dallas's culture, the mentality that they display there, it reaps laziness. So it's just like, yeah, you just rest on the laurels that you're talented and you're a Dallas Cowboy, but you ain't got no motor in you. There's no drive to say. And I don't. Listen, the NFL athletes are the 1%ers of 1%ers. So I'm not here, someone that never even ever had aspirations of being an NFL, nor the ability to do so. I'm not here to question someone's want to. But I look at it that if you have that ability, something in you's got a trigger to say, no, we're not about to lose this game. We're not going to do this.
Parsons is capable of getting 25 sacks a season if he wants to.
If he wanted to, yes.
He has the ability. I agree.
He has the ability. He has the ability.
He has the ability, and if he was schemed right, he can get 25 sacks a season.
But I also believe the motor has to be there, and that's why I agree with Eric with that. But he disappears.
And there's also some stuff I'm hearing that there's a true lack of leadership in Dallas. I mean, a true lack of leadership.
Well, we can see that. Yeah, we can see that.
Now, I got some pushback on that, because Micah Parsons is a team captain. Is he not?
He's a team captain because he's the best player on the field, ain't because of his leadership.
He's a Not because he's a leader, just because he's
No,
the best
he's
player
the
on
best player on the
Right.
field.
See, when people hear team captain, they automatically think he's a leader. No, you really got to dig in and figure out why the player's a team captain.
So we kind of got off topic there, but because we gotta dig a little bit more into the decline and the demise of the Dallas Cowboys in this
Yeah,
particular
that could be a whole segment by itself.
You're right. So, but what I want to address is the fact that they should have been sellers at this point, and maybe just maybe Micah Parsons should have been one of those guys. But the thing is like we know Mike McCarthy's a lame duck coach. We know he's on his way out. We know this. So by proxy, 9 times out of 10, the staff is gone too. So now we're talking about a completely different defensive scheme now for the Dallas Cowboys because Mike Zimmer will be gone too.
Again,
even though this is his first year,
Zimmer got to be gone.
He's in a bad position because when they fire the coach, they fire the whole staff. The whole staff got to go find jobs.
And so really, this gonna be the third scheme in 3 years, because you go from Quinn's scheme to Zimmer's scheme to whoever is gonna run that defense.
Exactly. So, like, I would basically be sellers at this trade at the deadline, which they didn't do, which is going to lead to problems down the road.
Because Dallas is going to have a high pick in the draft. Well, one player is not going to fix the issue.
No, it's not. No, it will not. It will not. You're absolutely right, Tristan. And yeah, they might snag, a really good player. And that I'm honestly, and this is me not hating because people are, oh, you hate Dallas. I'm being real here as an analyst. Dallas is looking at potentially having a top 10 pick.
Or no doubt. Probably top 5, top 7.
Probably top 5, yeah.
Yeah, they're looking just that bad. So it's just bad decision making by the front office of the Dallas Cowboys. And again, this is not hyperbole because I guarantee you, if Steve was on here right now, Steve would be dropping a couple of F-bombs and he'd be agreeing with me. So, and we all know Steve's a diehard Cowboys fan. Brandon definitely is. But yeah, man, these trades will be interesting. We'll see how things play out. So right about now, this is week 10 that we're going into for the NFL season. And, every week we do our top 5. For 1 week out of the season, we do our top 10. After next week, we go back to top 5. But right now, let's get into it. All right. So I believe, let me see. I think Tristan was first last week because I read his stuff last week.
Let me go last, man, because I've been busy all day, man.
Okay, so Steve sent his top 10, so I'll let Steve be first. Okay. And then I'll follow Steve, and then we'll go snake from that point. Cool? All right, folks. So this is Just a Fan Podcast top 10 at week 10. Steve has selected the Philadelphia Eagles as his number 10 overall team in the NFL. And I can't speak for him, but I can see why he put that there. I'm not even finna poo-poo that pick. That's it makes sense. And I don't think it's because, we got caught up in the Saquon Barkley play, which was phenomenal. Honestly, if I was the guy he jumped over backwards, I'd have to go see a therapist behind that because that would mess with my psyche. But Steve has the Eagles for number 10. My number 10 team, I didn't have them at number 10 until this trade got made. But with this trade, I think they're going to be a lot more dangerous than what they've been. I have the Pittsburgh Steelers. So, yeah, I have the Pittsburgh Steelers as my number 10. And I think I didn't have them there, but that trade puts them into my top 10. They're one of my top 10 teams in the league. You can't overlook how good of a coach Mike Tomlin is, because he's had less than this and have produced winning seasons, and now he has this, and they are sneaky good right now. Okay, Tristan, you're number 10.
So I see where it was actually interesting because when I saw Steve put his list up, I said, "Oh, that's interesting," because we got some flip flops. So I actually have the Chargers at 10, and I
Okay.
have the Chargers at 10 because I still just don't trust their defense. I don't trust their defense to give them a legitimate run. Like I said, looking at Steve's list where he put them, I don't have that trust. Whereas with the Eagles, I have more trust in the players of the Eagles rather than their coach. I think their players can overcome some of the coaching lack that they got going over there. So that's why I have the Chargers at 10.
I feel like with the Chargers, I kind of feel like Justin Herbert we might see him start playing some of his best football in his career
Oh,
under
for sure.
Jim Harbaugh.
For
I don't
sure.
quite have them there yet, but they're right in that. They're in that 11 to 15 range in my.
Got you.
Brandon, number 10.
Shocker. Y'all ready?
Mm-hmm.
Atlanta Falcons.
Okay.
Oh, at 10? Okay.
Yep. That offense is working with Kirk Cousins. Zach Robinson's the offensive coordinator. He comes from Sean McVay. Raheem Morris is running that defense. I know Atlanta wanted another pass rusher to help out Judon. They didn't get it. But yeah, I got Atlanta at 10 right now.
Okay. All right. So Brandon is back on you. You're number 9.
God. I really gotta give this one. I was not expecting this to happen either at this point this year, because I really had something else going on this year with this team. Philadelphia.
Okay.
And I think adding Saquon Barkley right now is just saving them. I honestly
For sure.
I think Saquon Barkley is saving them. If it wasn't for Saquon Barkley, Nick Sirianni would have been fired.
Yeah, I believe I agree with you. I think Saquon Barkley's addition is similar to the addition of Joe Mixon in Houston.
Yes.
He breathes
Mhm.
he breathes life into the rest of that offense just with his presence on the field. And I agree. I agree with you on that one. Tristan, number 9.
So number 9, I have the Texans, and it's really because of the injuries for them and that offensive line. I just believe they're coached very well. I believe in CJ Stroud. Um, and Nico Collins is supposed to come back.
He might
Um,
be back this week, actually.
yeah, so because of that, I'm like, okay, it gives them some life. Joe Mixon has been awesome there for them. So I have faith in them that they can kind of salvage this year to make it decent. But I can't put them any higher. Like if they were fully healthy and strong, they probably might have been in my top 5 because I just believe they would have been that good this year. But the injuries, you're losing your top 2 receivers like that, and having a questionable offensive line will hurt you.
Okay. All right. Well, for my number 9, I have the Falcons. They are way better than what we thought they were going to be. Raheem Morris is showing that he's a competent coach.
Yes.
Kirk Cousins is doing Kirk Cousins type stuff My concern is, and y'all know where I'm going with this. What are they going to look like when they get in the playoffs?
Yes.
Kirk Cousins is the quarterback. But Kirk Cousins during the regular season is a monster, and he's proven it right now. Now, granted, he's seen some weak defenses, but he takes advantage of those weak defenses when he sees them. So I can't knock him for doing what he does against weak defenses.
Now, I'm sorry. Just real quick, the only other problem I have with Atlanta is the skill players on offense is young. B. John's young, London is young, Kyle Pitts is young. You know what I'm saying? They just haven't had that real bump yet. And they might get that this year.
Yeah, I believe so. So Steve has the Vikings for his number 9 team. I'm gonna let y'all know I don't have the Vikings up there for my top 10 this week. But I still think they're a very good team. I got them right there with the Chargers. I think people are starting to figure out that defense a little bit, and they're starting to be able to circumvent it. But Steve has the Vikings at number 9. Steve, for number 8, has the Chargers for probably all the reasons that you listed, Tristan. I have the Packers at number 8. This is another team that I just still feel like hasn't reached their final form yet, which is scary because they're playing really good football right now. And I don't think they're as good as they can be going forward, provided they don't get any injuries. I think they can be better than what they are right now. But I like the fact that they can win with either quarterback. Josh Jacobs is running the ball well. They don't miss Aaron Jones at all because Josh Jacobs is doing everything that Aaron Jones was able to do when he was there. And those young receiving core is dangerous. So I have the Packers at number 8. Brandon, number 8.
Minnesota, number 8. I think, though, at some point, though, time is going to run out on Minnesota. Like you said, they're starting to figure out that defense. I like Brian Flores a lot, but he's going to have to start throwing some change-ups with that defense because he's very aggressive. But like you said, teams are figuring out how to beat him, man. So I don't know how much longer they're going to stay in the top 10, but right now they're number 8.
Okay. Tristan, number 8.
So number 8, I have the number 8. I have the Eagles.
Okay.
I have the Eagles at 8. Like I said, I believe in the players more than the coach, but their coach will be a liability. But they are getting healthy. Saquon just really it seemed like to be the key ingredient for that offense to be even more dominant. And then you still got Devonta Smith, you still got AJ Brown, you got their tight end, offensive line's playing pretty decent. You're kind of hiding Jalen Hurts inefficiencies because of Saquon and the rest of the team.
That's exactly what's going on. They are running a 2-back system.
Yes, sir.
Running back system. Jalen Hurts at running back and Saquon Barkley the other running back.
I wouldn't go that far, but I do. Me and Brandon kind of on the same page with that one.
It's a 2 running back system. E. Sorry.
So you kind of you're protecting him from himself, to not put him in dangerous situations like that. And their defenses is clicking. I'm glad to see McCoby Dean making some plays. I really like him coming out of Georgia. So yeah, I'll have them at 8 because I just think 2 things with them. I think Nick Sirianni is going to coach them out of some games. I think Jalen Hurts is going to throw them out of some games, especially in the playoffs.
That's fair. Tristan is back on you, number 8.
You mean number 7?
Number 7, excuse me. I'm sorry, number 7.
Number 7. I want to make sure I got my Jones correctly. Number 7. Oh, of course I would lose my stuff. Number 7. Number 7, I'm gonna put the Falcons.
Okay.
I'm gonna put the Falcons. I'm gonna put the Falcons at 7 because I think similar to what you said, Eric, Kirk Cousins during regular season, he's awesome. Playoffs, it's still to be decided what he does with Atlanta. But I love the weapons they got. It seems like they're finally using their tight end. Jesus.
Finally.
What
Uh,
tight end?
right, because I still think he's a wide receiver.
Zach
Um,
Zach Robinson knows what to do with that offense.
but having Brian Robinson in the backfield, having Drake London, it just
Bijan.
Kirk, like I say, Bijan, sorry, Bijan Robinson in the backfield, having Drake London, it's just I love what they're doing, and their defense is underrated. Their defense is underrated. They're actually playing a lot better than what I thought. I'm pretty sure they're going to address the defense side of the ball during free agency and draft, but it's not bad.
You
It's
got
not bad at all.
you got some dogs at every level because
Yes,
uh,
yes,
linebackers probably the only one you kind of but they still playing well. You got Matthew Judon, you got Jesse Bates at safety, you got AJ Terrell at corner.
yeah.
You got some dogs.
You got Justin
You got some
Simmons at
dogs.
safety.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you
And I
got some stuff to build
forgot about
around.
Simmons. All right, so you got a bookend safety tandem that's sick.
I would still love to see Michael Penix with this offense, but Kirk Cousins playing well though.
Yeah. So my number 7, I have the Washington Commanders as my number 17.
Okay.
Yeah, with this pickup of Marshawn Lattimore, they check a box that I needed to see checked, and especially if they play well this week. Just on paper, they're a top 10 team now just by that addition. If they play well this week and the defense starts to gel in this Dan Quinn system, then they're going to move up. Right now, I got them at number 7, and that's hey, Steve has the Texans at number 7.
Okay.
And I think it's for all the reasons that we talk about, and all the reasons that they're down. They dropped the game to the Jets, but let's be honest, every team loses a game that they're supposed to win, at one point or another. So I think they'll bounce. Ooh, God, they got the Lions this week. We'll talk about
Yeah, they
that.
do. I think that's what, Monday Night Football, something like that.
Yeah, it's Sunday night, I believe.
Okay.
But yeah, the Texans are still one of the top teams in the league. They're a top 10 team. Just kind of they're in that no man's land. Brandon, number 7.
Green Bay Packers.
All right.
They know how to win with quarterbacks. Josh Jacobs running back. Defense is good. Now they lost Preston Smith, but actually I'm not surprised because you have Rashawn Gary as the primary pass rusher, and they drafted Lucas Van Ness, I think in 2023 draft. And I'm not even looking at my notes, but off the top of my head, I remember I was like, Lucas Van Ness is not a primary pass rusher. I think he can be a number 2 pass rusher. And so it made sense when he got drafted by Green Bay because at the time he was the number 3 pass rusher. Now that Preston Smith is in Pittsburgh, he's number 2. So
Vanessa's ascension facilitated Preston Smith's trade.
Yeah. Yep. And I tell you, that safety is Xavier McKinney, being the deep ball safety that he is right now in that defensive scheme, man. I tell you, I didn't see that coming.
All right, number 6.
I did not see that coming.
Your number 6.
Man,
I
didn't see this coming either. I didn't.
Go ahead.
Washington
Commanders.
I was about to say, go ahead, Brandon. Go ahead and say it.
I mean, they winning. They got pieces. They need more pieces, of course, but they got pieces and they winning. I mean, I gotta give it to them. It is what it is at this point. Hats off to them. I wouldn't be surprised if they win the division this year. Because now I will say this: I did have them at number 2 when we did when we did our picks. I had him at number 2 in the division, and I kept saying, I said, man, I just want to see what Jaden Daniels can do because I didn't. Well, of course, I didn't believe in the Giants because they ain't got no quarterback, and in Philadelphia, their quarterback's a running back. But yeah, Washington is yeah they got it, and then Marshawn Lattimore. Dan Quinn can now go back to his cover 1, cover 3 schemes, middle field close, and do what he got to do.
All right.
That's what he wanted.
Tristan, number 6.
So unfortunately, I have the Commanders at 6. I would have had them at 5, but when you hear my 5 pick, then you understand why I put them at 6. But I have them at 6. Again, they if it wasn't, they might have been a little lower, but because of Marcus Lattimore, I'm putting them at 6 because again, I'm now when you give Dan Quinn and Joe Witt Jr. an opportunity to be creative with their defense now because they don't have to worry about one side of the field so much. I'm just interested to see what that looks like because, like I said, they've been playing. I've been telling everybody they're playing with house money because no one saw this coming for this squad. And the way that they played. Listen, I know Jaden Daniels is like the runaway rookie of the year, and everybody's talking about Jaden Daniels this, Jaden Daniels that, but the unsung heroes really is Brian Robinson Jr. and Austin Eckler. That run game makes all of this work. It
Best
makes
thing,
all of this work.
best thing,
Anthony Lynn.
yeah, the best.
Anthony Lynn is really the unsung because you talking about
Yeah,
Robinson and Eckler.
yeah,
That's Anthony Lynn with that run scheme.
Right.
yes,
So the best thing for a young quarterback is having a good running game. So I agree with
yes.
And a veteran tight end, which they got in Zach Ertz.
And
you. Right.
Zach Ertz. Yep.
I've always said that on the show. If you got a young quarterback, Jaden Daniels, and you got a veteran tight end, a la Zach Ertz, it makes it work.
Good run scheme. You hear that, Chicago?
All right. So Eagles is my number 6, and the reason why is because we see what the Eagles are at this point. We still need to see what the Commanders are with Marshawn Lattimore. I think they're going to be good. That's why I'm gonna move them up next week. But they're what and what. I mean, really, you can say Commanders and Eagles are 6 and 6A at this point. But right now, I have the Eagles with a slight edge over the Commanders. Steve has the Steelers at number 6, and he's the snakes around. So now he has. Oh, I can't. He has the Commanders at 5 because it's his turn. He has the Commanders at 5. That's pretty interesting. Um, we've already had the Commanders. I have the Commanders at 7, and you guys had the Commanders at 6. So it's kind of same range, I guess.
Yep.
So I have the Texans at 5, and because they're getting healthy. Nico,
That offensive line, though.
the offensive line, but look, hey, they've been winning with that offensive line. That's the
Yeah,
thing.
but my thing is this, and I'm sorry to cut you off. If I'm teams moving forward, I'm doing a lot of similar stuff that the Jets did because it wasn't just the Jets just running their basic schemes. They were running multiple fronts, multiple alignments, and they were getting after them. I would keep doing that moving forward if I'm these teams.
Well, we're gonna have to see if Bobby Slowick has the smarts to circumvent that and work around it. Because most good coaches in that system find ways to circumvent bad offensive lines. Ask Kyle Shanahan, because we've not had a good offensive line in San Francisco for some time outside of Trent Williams. So I think the Texans can too. Tristan, number 5.
So, like I said, me and Steve playing opposites because my number 5 is the Steelers, and they were number 5 because of that, because of the trade they did. Adding Mike Williams to go opposite side of Pickens. You have Russell Wilson knows to throw the ball down the field. They have a great tight end. People don't talk about him enough. He's a great tight end. Offensive line's playing good. You got Najee Harris playing like baby beast mode. That was the comp on him coming out from Alabama. So to have that and having Preston Smith on the other side with TJ Watt, Cam Hayward in the middle, Minka, Joey Porter Jr. It's a solid unit, and it's the Steelers with Mike Tomlin. So I mean, he did a whole lot with less, and now he's got something to really work with now. So that's why I have them at 5.
All right. Uh, Brandon, I did that out of order. I'm in the wrong order. But Brandon, number 5.
Hey, same thing with Trisha, man. Trisha just said everything that I want to say. The tight end's name, I think you're talking about. His first name is Pat.
Firemouth.
Oh, is that how you pronounce
That's
his
it.
last name?
That's it. Fair move. Yep.
Okay,
Firemouth.
well, yeah, Pat Firemouth. Thank you, because I was like, how do you pronounce this cat's last name? But yeah, I mean that's the tight end. Like you said, he's very underrated. Like no one even knows about him. No one even talks about him. But no, he's a very good tight end. He's a very good tight end.
All right. So I did that out of order. Tristan, we need your number 4, excuse me, number 4.
My bad. My mute button was acting up. Number 4 I have is the Ravens. I have the Ravens at 4. I have the Ravens at 4 because I know they got Travarius White from the Rams. I didn't think they needed a corner, and I
That's
don't think he's the Travarius White from Buffalo. So I don't. I thought they would have tried to be in the pass rush market for a pass rusher, because that's really what's lacking for them is a consistent pass rush on that defense, which is exposing their back end. So I kind of see why they did it, but I don't know. Um, but it's really on the back. The me having them at number 4 is solely on the back of Lamar and Derrick Henry, not really anything else on that team, because the defense is not. They're not playing up to their level, and his receivers seem to fail him every other week. So it's really on the back of Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry.
Brandon, number 4.
Buffalo. They own that division, and they're able to run the ball. I think what I said in the group chat, they swept Miami.
Mm-hmm.
Swept Miami.
Yeah, so they swept Miami. Like I said, they own that division. It's the AFC is gonna be interesting overall because you see Buffalo, you see Baltimore, you see Pittsburgh, you see Houston, of course Kansas City. AFC is interesting. It's interesting. I can't wait to playoffs, man. I can't wait to playoffs. But we're gonna see how the rest of the season play out. Buffalo number 4.
Okay. For Steve's number 4, he has the Ravens at number 4, just like Tristan, probably for all the same reasons. For my number 4, I have the Bills, just like Brandon. And what I'm liking about the Bills is the fact that they're probably playing the most balanced football that they've played. Complementary football from defense to offense, and the offense is balanced. They're not trying to. Josh Allen's not slinging it all over the field and then taking off running. They're actually using James Cook like he should be used, and they're running the ball, which makes the passing game that much more of a threat. So I like the Bills at number 4. My number 3 is the Ravens. You have 2 guys on the same team that are vying for MVP. Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson. And as long as they can keep that offensive production, they sprinkle in some Zay Flowers here and some Rashad Bateman there and some Mark Andrews here. As long as they keep that formula going, they're one of the best teams in the AFC. Dare I say the league. So I have the Ravens at number 3. Steve has the Bills at number 3. So we're kind of flip-flopping on Ravens and Bills between 3 and 4 right now. Brandon, you're number 3.
Just take a guess based off what you said.
Let me see. I'm trying to see.
Them birds.
Yep.
Yeah, the Ravens. Yeah.
Yep. There you go. I mean, you guys have named it. You guys have said it. But Tristan's right. They did need a pass rusher, man. They missed out on that one. They missed out on that one. That could hurt.
Can you imagine if the Ravens would have traded for Preston Smith?
Or if they traded for
Yeah,
Zadarius Smith or
yeah. Well, remember Zadarius? They wouldn't pay Zadarius. Remember Zadarius was with them.
oh, that's
They
right, that's
wouldn't
right.
pay
Now
Zadarius.
That's
here's another thing too.
that's why I
I
said
heard David Clowney was on the market. He was just in Baltimore last year and was actually
Yeah, he was.
successful in Baltimore
I don't
last
know
year.
why. I
Why
don't know
did you
why
didn't
he
bring him
went to
back?
Carolina. I don't. It wasn't them. He wanted to go to Carolina. I don't know why. Well, he wanted to play for his home, but it
I
was dumb.
get it, man, but dude,
yeah, no.
I'm trying to get one of these, okay? Super Bowl ring.
Tristan, number 3.
Yeah, it's the Bills. Again, balanced. You're keeping Josh Allen under control. That
Yes.
is a major thing.
Mhm.
And he's learning to pick his spots of when to be Superman.
When you leave him to
That
his own devices, that's when he starts to
that
screw it.
that's when he goes crazy. Exactly. James Cook
Can't
is balling.
can't leave
You
him
yeah, I think them picking up Amari Cooper was sneaky good. Um, for so it allows Kyle Coleman to learn from Amari. I know he's dealing with that wrist injury right now. I don't know if he's
Yeah,
going to play
Cola.
this week. Can't yeah. I don't know if he's gonna I don't know if he's gonna play this week with that wrist injury, but him being there, learning with him, they got a great tight end room, let alone
Yeah,
players.
Dawson Knox and Dante Kincaid. Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, they're well balanced. Their only liability to me is their defensive line outside of what's the guy in the middle?
Oh,
Can't remember his name.
shoot. Oh God.
Oliver.
Yeah, thank you, Al Oliver.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. Outside of him, the defensive line
Yeah, because
is a liability.
Von Miller's old now, man.
Yeah, he's over the hill now.
And Greg Russo is a first round bust.
All
Yeah,
right.
he showed flashes, but
He
yeah,
shows flashes.
All
There's a
right.
difference between flashes and actually producing. He's a flash player.
Yeah, he's an ancillary guy, and if you get drafted at high, you should be ancillary. I get that. Tristan, number 2. I think I know who this is, but go ahead.
yeah, man. Detroit Lions, and I really want to put them as number one, but we'll know why they're not. But I almost want to say 1B. I mean, you want to talk about complete team? Jesus, I mean, top to bottom. What can you say? Wide receivers strong, tight end strong, offensive line strong, run game strong, quarterback strong, defensive line. You got Darius Smith strong, linebackers strong, branch in the safety spots, secondary strong. I mean, I don't. Your special teams play great, well coached, well disciplined. I don't know. They smack you in the mouth. I mean, you almost want to say 1B. I hate putting them at 2.
Yeah,
all roads lead to Detroit in the Super Bowl for the NFC side.
Brandon.
Tristan said it, man. I mean, do you really? I mean, you want to say 1B? To be honest with you, the only thing I can add to it is Ben Johnson, this creative offensive coordinator, and he's allowed to be creative because he's been there so long, and those guys know the offense. They know how he wants things done. So now it's allowing him to say, okay, look, I can run outside zone, but I can do outside zone this way. Okay, I don't have to do it a traditional way of outside zone. He's creative. I can do ISO. I can run ISO multiple ways, and he's doing that. So, and I don't know what he's running out outside zone, but I'm just throwing stuff out there. So
They
he's
got offensive tackles running out routes for touchdowns, man. Offensive tackle. Come on.
like Panay Sewell is probably the best right tackle in the league right now.
Yeah, he's freakish, man.
Yeah, and they got one of the best centers. I mean, the O-line coach that group. Aaron Glenn runs that defense. Yeah, man, Detroit is really 1B more so than 2, but yeah.
So, in the interest of time, Steve and I also have the Lions at number 2, and the only reason why they're not number 1 is I think everybody is unanimous with the Chiefs being number 1. I think that Patrick Mahomes is playing the worst football of his career.
The worst football of his career.
But
Yes,
now, is
but
D Hop going to kind of turn that around a little bit?
yes, he is. But just go ahead. Let's be honest. What's keeping the Chiefs afloat right now is their defense.
Yes.
It's Will Spagnuolo is calling that defense, and now with the addition of DeAndre Hopkins, you can probably start seeing the offense take off a little bit more. Isaiah Pacheco is going to be back pretty soon. So
Do we understand that they got D Hop that looking like he found the fountain of youth,
yeah.
and then the other receivers are supposed to be returning with Pacheco. So you're gonna pair Pacheco with Kareem. It's ah, it's so irritating.
Listen. D Hop and Travis Kelsey can work the underneath stuff while healthy Hollywood Brown and Xavier Worthy can just roll up top.
And then you can go deep in your tight ends because your backup to Travis Kelsey is probably going to be a Pro Bowler when Travis is done.
So here's the next thing. They like
And your defense is playing the best. Sorry, Eric.
yeah, you have a coach that knows how to use all those weapons. Because some coaches have a treasure trove of weapons in their pantry and don't use all of them. They'll run one guy into the ground or whatever. But you know, Andy Reid knows how to find a way to get all of these guys involved. And
Everybody get touches.
everybody gets touches, and that's a problem for anybody's defense. As bad as Pat Mahomes is playing right now, and it don't help that the refs are helping too. So, because we ain't gonna talk about that false start we saw on
Oh yeah. What was that? The right tackle
or that
or the
phantom,
guard?
yeah, or no, that was a tackle, or that phantom face mask that happened earlier in the game. So, but we're not gonna go in.
Exactly. But
Yeah,
the thing is with Patrick Mahomes, even though like everyone will say he's playing the worst football of his career, he
yeah.
still makes the key plays to end up winning the game.
He
And
making the
that's what's
key plays when
frustrating
needed.
because his defense is playing lights out.
So
So they
they
give him a chance.
right. They erase a lot of. They erase a lot of.
I'm telling you, man, Detroit and Chiefs in the Super Bowl, that's what I'm looking at.
Yeah, barring injuries.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
Yeah. I
so
want it for Detroit so bad. I really do.
Yes.
I wouldn't be upset if Detroit, you know, went to the Super Bowl and won it. I would love to see them. They proven that they can beat Kansas City. They beat them last year in the regular season. So I'd really be, you know, excited about them possibly beating the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. I'd like to see that. And let's just be real. The Chiefs are the new Patriots.
They're the
Their
new Patriots.
overwhelming success is
Yes.
making people mad
We hate them now because they keep winning.
because they keep winning. When the Patriots first started, went, oh yeah, Patriots, Tom Brady. After about that third Super Bowl, people was like, hey man,
All right now.
yeah. So you know, the Chiefs are the new Patriots as we look at it now. But in the interest of time, let's keep it rolling. I have my picks to make this week.
Let's see here. Oh,
I'm gonna try to keep this, make this very quick. All right. So Thursday night football, we have the Bengals traveling to Baltimore to play the Ravens. This is not a pick'em game. This normally would be, but I will say this: this is a divisional game. So normally, I would say the Ravens.
Anything can happen.
Right. I would normally say the Ravens would run roughshod over the Bengals, but because this is a divisional game and this is one of the most brutal divisions in football, anything can happen. But I'm still taking the Ravens on this. So put your money on the Ravens, folks. This next game is kind of a pick 'em, but nobody really cares. The Giants play the Panthers
Germany.
in Germany. See, this game right here. This game right here is the United States still punishing Germany for World War II.
Yep.
They forcing them to watch this game. And I'm going to add another caveat to that. if I was the NFL, I would like make the team that loses this game stay in Germany. You got to win to get back in the country. That's just what I'm saying. That being said, I think the Giants win this, but does it really matter? I don't think anybody's putting money on this unless you just like a really big gambling addict. So moving on. I got the Giants over the Panthers. The Patriots are traveling to Chicago to play the Bears. Give me the Bears in this. They're gonna
It
find
should
a way.
be.
They should win this game. Honestly, that defense should they should just overwhelm the Patriots. Honestly,
But Uber Fluss over there.
man, look, I'm trying to tell you. But again, give me the Bears over the Patriots. The 49ers travel to Tampa Bay to play the Bucks after the bye. The 49ers are coming off of a bye. Christian McCaffrey is practicing and there's about a 90% chance he will play this week. Juwan Jennings is playing this week. Basically, I'm gonna just say, like I've been saying, if they don't win this game, they need to cancel their season. The Bucks just came off a really tough game against the Chiefs where they got beat up. This looks like the Niners game. They look like to go on the road and beat the Bucks. Broncos at the Chiefs. Come on, man. The Chiefs are at home. They're gonna beat them. They're gonna beat them.
Broncos defense is good, but it's going to come down to a quarterback play. And
I was just going to say the Broncos defense is underrated.
Quarterback play, officiating, Mahomes. Okay.
Yeah.
Chiefs over Broncos. Give me the Bills over the Colts. I think they might actually steamroll the Colts, but never count out Smoking Joe Flacco. Because Smoking Joe might just make this. It might be worth watching, but I still like the Bills.
They need to figure out that Anthony Richardson situation.
Yeah. The Steelers are going to Washington, D.C. to play the Commanders. This is one of my pick'em games for the week because this could go either way. Right now, I got the Steelers as winning this game, but we'll have to see with the addition of Marshawn Lattimore if they can hold down this passing game. My
concern is the pass rush of the Steelers because I had the Commanders winning before that trade happened with Preston Smith.
Now you got T.J. Watt.
Preston Smith still got a grudge against Washington.
Exactly. So I got the Steelers winning this one. Vikings at the Jaguars. This is not my Stone Cold pick of the week, but it could be. I think the Vikings gonna come in there and do some foul to the Jags.
Dog walk.
Doug Peterson, you don't know this. I'm just saying right now, you don't know this. You're on the hot seat.
So is Trevor.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? Tristan was right. Doug Peterson was successful in Philadelphia because he had veterans who can basically coach themselves.
Yeah, same thing with Sirianni.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so I got the Falcons over the Saints. Saints are a bloody mess. Even though they're at home. Preseason, I would have said, hey, man, the Saints probably going to win this. And I was like, the Falcons will win in Atlanta and the Saints will win in New Orleans. But the Saints are a bloody mess right now. They got injuries.
From a Hall of Famer.
Yeah. Hey, man, you got injuries. You just got your coaches just got fired. It's a bloody mess over there. I like the Falcons because they're on kind of a hot streak right now. I like the Falcons beating the Saints. The Titans travel to LA to play the Chargers. Give me the Chargers over that game. The Titans can't pull P out of boot without instructions, and they'll still mess it up. The Jets.
Got Patty Mayonnaise throwing in the football.
Exactly. So the Jets and the Cardinals play. I like the Jets over the Cardinals. I kind of hope the Jets do beat the Cardinals, but we'll see. The Jets beat the Cardinals.
Ooh, you got the Jets over the Cardinals?
The New York Aaron Rodgers football team.
Yes.
Oh, you're right. The ARs.
There you go. It's even better. The New York ARs.
Okay. So I
got the Cardinals over the Jets though.
Okay. All right. But this next game is my Stone Cold Lock of the week.
Hold on.
Oh my goodness. Time. We gotta get the time. The Eagles will travel to AT&T Stadium and dog walk the Cowboys.
Dog walk. Saquon about to have a field day.
The Cowboys cannot stop the run. They can't stop a nosebleed. Saquon Barkley is
It's
running.
about to be a show.
He's already running for a lot of yards against good defenses, so he's going to have a field day against that Dallas front. Then like Brandon says, they have a 2 running back system. Look for Jalen Hurts to rush for about 50 yards as well. They may not even have to put the ball in the air, but if they do, he's probably going to complete a lot of passes. It's gonna be bad. It's gonna be bad. Like you're gonna see Bubba Dub doing his videos, trash, like that. So yeah, that's my Stone Cold Lock of the Week. Eagles over Cowboys.
Trash, 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 trash.
And yes, that was for the Dallas Cowboys. Do I need to do it again?
No. We got it.
No.
Yeah. Okay. So this next game is the game of the week, and it's a pick'em game. The Lions travel to H-Town, City of Syrup, where we ride on them swingers.
Real burgers.
And they play, we eat Trill burgers and we ride on them swingers. The Lions play the Texans, who are just starting to get healthy. These are 2 marquee teams on
It's
this.
gonna be a good game.
2 top 10 teams against each other, just like Commanders and Steelers. But I do have the Lions pulling this one out for the reasons that Tristan mentioned before. The Texans' offensive line, I don't know if they're going to be able to withstand that. And not the edge so much, but the interior pass rush.
The interior, yep.
Kenyon Green is hurt. That's their guard. He was a very good guard. I believe he's out for the season.
I think so.
I think so too.
You got to keep an eye on that. But I'm gonna tell you right now, if the Texans are able to pull off this win and beat the Lions, we got to start putting some respect on the Texans' name more than we already are doing. But I just don't see that happening, honestly. Last game. Well, I'm sorry, I got 2 more games. Give me the Rams over the Dolphins. The Rams are at home. The Dolphins, they're a bloody mess. Tua might make a little bit of a game of it, but the Rams are just a better team right now.
He should have retired.
Yeah,
he should have stayed on IR.
Like when he scrambled in last week's game, the announcer was like, "Uh-oh." Like as soon as he took off out the pocket, the announcer was like, "Uh-oh." It was like,
he slid.
No, that was one scramble. He went head first. That's the one he said,
"Oh, I didn't see that one."
Yeah, he was all right, but yeah, it was like, And then for my last game, this would have been a Stone Cold lock, but I got the Eagles over the Cowboys. The bye week will go to Las Vegas and beat the hell out the Raiders. So that's my last game. So to recap, give me the Ravens over the Bengals, the Giants over the Panthers, Bears over Patriots, Niners over Bucks, Chiefs over Broncos, Bills over Colts, Steelers over Commanders, pick 'em game. Vikings over Jags, Falcons over Saints, Chargers over Titans, Jets over Cardinals, Eagles over Cowboys, Stone Cold Lock of the Week, Lions over Texans, Rams over Dolphins, and the bye week will put up 50 points on the Raiders. And that's it.
That's so disrespectful.
Lord have mercy. Well, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, we have completed another week of Just a Fan podcast. We are back again next Wednesday, same time, same place. This past week, yesterday was an NFL trade deadline, which finished at 4 p.m. Now, if you release a veteran, he is subject to what is called he's subject to the waiver wire. So, and a team has 24 hours to claim him, or he is straight up a free agent, and that's for the rest of the season, and that's for any veteran player. So, anyway, that direction. Nope. There you go, because I'm on this side this time, which is strange. Anyway, that direction. Panel 316, the good guy with the black hat. At least football is a nice distraction. I know what you mean. Down below, Trish TV, the media brain. And Tristan, you have said something on social media that you feel sorry for some people. um, over the next 48 hours. Yeah, I do too, man. Um, I think everybody just needs a hug right now. And I am Coach Williams, the NFL Encyclopedia. All I said was all these trades or all those trades. Good night. Peace out. Give somebody a hug.